The GMen, September 17th, 2025. GMan down. GMan down.
And welcome everyone to the G-Man Show. Now, what can you say after a major Apple event that hasn't already been said? Not a whole lot, apparently, but guest Karl Madden and I will certainly try. How are you, Karl? It's good to see you. I didn't mean to solo you. There you are, both of us together at last. How are you, sir?
Indeed. I'm all right, I suppose. Still working and not doing anything else but than working, and well, that's it basically.
Oh, okay. Well, that's that's a good thing. Some of us don't get to work anymore.
Oh, I did do one thing.
Oh, tell me.
You know, all these people go on about planned obsolescence of Apple products, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, I literally dug out my old MacBook Air from 2010, booted it up, worked fine. High Sierra, I think, was the last one on it. Anyway, gave it to my brother. He's now got his first Mac.
Yeah, well, I know there's a lot of people that pass down tech to, relatives and whatever, mostly because, we get something new and we want other people to have a similar experience. There's no reason, just because it's not running the latest and the greatest doesn't mean that it isn't still useful, especially for people that aren't, recording video and audio and doing all those things. So yeah, that's a good thing. Now, obviously Gaz isn't here because, here's the thing. I have known Gaz, well, you've known Gaz too, for a very, very long time. And at least once a year, he and his lovely wife go on these long walks. And I'm not talking about the movie that's getting ready to come out. They can stop whenever they want and nothing bad will happen. So let's get that out of the way. But they go on these like incredibly long hikes and they go through, hither and yon through the English countryside, and they love it. And I'm trying to think of something silly to say about it, but I guess I really can't. They're getting lots of exercise, which I'm not getting. And anyway, that's why he's not here. Boy, that was a long way to go for just pretty much nothing.
So Gaz's two hobbies are walking, kind of slow, and Formula One, kind of high speed. There's no middle ground, is there, with him?
No, there is. He's now mountain biking.
Well, just delayed crashing, that is.
If he gets all the way through a trail, it's like, I'll have to crash twice next time. Okay. I actually have not been up to a whole lot myself, kind of recovering from the Florida trip, which wasn't nearly as much fun as you would believe a Florida trip should be. But I will be going back down again sometime soon. Actually, program note, I am going on another trip early October. I'm going out to Denver and hope to have either lunch or dinner with good friend of the show, Jeff Gamet, and then visit my sister who lives near Denver, and then off to Boise, where my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law live. So finally, I'm going on a trip without any horrible consequences at some point during that trip. So that's a win. That is a win. And, I should have Gaz's snippets here somewhere. I'm pretty sure I do. I found it. Yay. Okay. Are you ready to go on over to Gaz's snippets?
Let's go.
There. All right. I found them. And if you screw up, that's Gaz's snippets backwards, just because. All right. We're going to go kind of back and forth on this, but I'll take the first one. As of shortly after 11:30 a.m. Pacific time yesterday, select iPhone 17, 17 Pro, and Air configurations on Apple's online store in the US are facing an additional 1 to 3 week shipping delay beyond launch day, with delivery estimates pushing into late September to mid-October. However, for some configurations, delivery or in-store pickup or select Apple Store locations on launch day is still an option at this time of writing. But
I can't believe it. Are you telling me the flagship device that Apple sells has gone on a delay shortly after going on sale?
I
This is
know, isn't that
unheard of. I've never
crazy?
heard of this before.
Oh, and if you think you're going to walk into the store and pick one of these up, you better get there really early. I mean, long before that store is going to open, because there's usually a mob scene on launch day outside of Apple stores. I know now here in the States, I don't know if people do it over in the UK because, we're special people. Some of them actually spend the night if they're able to. If it's in a shopping mall, obviously the mall closes, and people will be like, no, you can't spend the night in the shopping mall. But other places that are in a more open area, people do actually spend the night waiting for the store to open so that they can be first, as if that really matters. Yeah.
I've never understood that mentality ever
No.
for anything, like Superman tickets, Star Wars tickets, whatever.
It'll still be there a week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks to 4 weeks after it's released. Being able to say, I am the first one to have an Apple iPhone 17 that looks remarkably like the iPhone 16 and 15 and 14 and 13, ad nauseum. I don't get it.
And
I don't get it.
the other thing I can't get my head around is people are probably still going into Apple stores between now and next Friday buying the current iPhone at the full price. And I
Okay.
just think, surely people in the store should go, look, mate, I'm not meant to tell you this, but just wait. Just wait a week, right? And come back then.
Okay, then I have something to tell you. My wife is currently using an SE2, which has a smaller screen that she likes. And, it's the battery life on it now is atrocious. She needs a new phone. She's had that for 5 or 6 years now. So I pulled up the iPhone 17, and it's $100 more than getting a new iPhone 16. But it has a 6.3-inch screen as compared to the iPhone 16, which has a 6.1-inch screen for $100 less. And I offered the choice to my wife. I said, do you want a brand new shiny, or do you want the, last year's model with a slightly smaller screen? And she chose the 16, not just because it has a smaller screen, but because she's updating from an SE2 that she doesn't really see what the big difference is going to be between the 16 and the 17. And I have to say, I agree with her. If a slightly smaller screen is what you want, and you're still on an SE or 13 or 14, or maybe even a 15, and you want a better camera than, and new battery and all the rest of that, then the 16 at a slightly cheaper price is still a good option.
Well, I think you should be glad because your missus puts incredible stock on 0.2 of an inch. So you should be very happy.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. I get jokes. Screw you. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, right.
It's 0.2. No, guy. No.
Are you blushing? Stop blushing.
Why don't you go ahead and take the next one?
According to FCC documents, the N1 chip in all of the new iPhone models supports up to 160 megahertz channel bandwidth for Wi-Fi 7, short of the standard 320 megahertz maximum. This limitation means that devices cannot achieve the peak theoretical speeds possible with Wi-Fi 7, but real-world performance is typically already bottlenecked by internet service providers and other factors. So what's the point of reading that sentence there?
Well, I was kind of wondering on your take on the fact that, this new well, actually he doesn't yet. Well, it's the N1 chip. So I guess they're not talking about the the C1 chip that's in the Air, but the N1 chip, it's not in all the new iPhone models. It's not in the Air. Supports only half the bandwidth of the standard 320 megahertz. And can you think of any reason why Apple would do that? Or maybe it was just slightly cheaper, or that people won't really notice the difference?
It could be cheaper. I mean, is bandwidth the megahertz channel? Is that directly linked to, the speeds that they can get, or not?
Sort of. I mean, if you're
I honestly couldn't tell you.
if you're, say you're playing a game that relies on fast bandwidth, that can certainly make a difference. But if you're, downloading a document or waiting for a web page to come up, no, you're probably not going to notice a real difference. I just thought it was odd when I read this that, why not go the full 320? And I didn't see anything in the article that explained why.
No, it could be like thermal throttling or something like that they're worried about. I don't know. Or it could just be their cheapskates.
Yeah, could
even.
be.
So
Yeah, because they just
who
don't make
knows?
it. Poor Apple.
Yeah, or obviously, or it might just be a limitation of the new N1 chip. Who knows? I mean, we don't really know about it that much at the moment.
That's true. That's true. And maybe this will keep them from getting sued by various people who claim copyright and all kinds of other stupid things. Okay, next story. The entry-level iPhone 17 looks very similar, wow, to the equivalent iPhone 16 model, but it is reportedly proving popular in at least one country so far. On the popular Chinese shopping website JD.com, the standard iPhone 17 with 256 gigs of storage received the most pre-orders of any of the new iPhone models when pre-orders began on Friday, according to the South China Morning Post. There is one caveat. Apple delayed pre-orders for the all-new ultra-thin iPhone in China due to eSIM regulatory approval issues in that country. However, on Apple's online store in the US, most iPhone Air configurations are still available for September 19th launch day delivery. So it is possible that the entry-level iPhone 17 would have proved popular in China, even if the iPhone Air had also been available for pre-order. I don't know what your thoughts are on the iPhone Air, but I'm kind of missing the point of it.
Well, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because I don't think we're going to appreciate how slim it is until we see it in person. Because it's all very well seeing the graphics and the pictures and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But it looks ridiculously thin. And I don't. So
Up
the
to
only
a
reason I
point.
can think about it, the only reason, sorry?
Up to a point, it's thin.
Yeah. So, yeah, then there's this big bump.
Hump.
But I don't know. It looks like one half of a folded phone waiting for the other half to appear next year.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's not something I'd be interested in. I'm interested in, like, when I finally stagger into an Apple store to go, bloody hell, that's thin. But until then, I mean, the iPad Pro, the recent iteration of that was really slim as well compared to
Yeah.
everything else. But Johnny's not even there anymore. We can't even blame it on him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Do we need an iPhone that can cut cheese?
I don't know. I mean, they slip out your hand easily enough as it is. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And then you put a case on it.
This is just put a case on it. Yeah, there's no point. But they are doing a bumper case for it though, which I've always kind of liked because I never understood why we buy these beautiful looking phones and then we just immediately cover them up because we're scared of damaging them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always for a bumper case. I'm always popular about them.
Well, what phone did you currently
have? Oh my God, 15.
Okay, and it's still working great, right?
Yeah, of course. The battery still lasts me all day. I use it in my van. I start at, well, I leave the house 5:30. I drive all day long. I'm using like the podcast player, the music player. I'm doing sat navs and stuff like this, reading messages, doing phone calls. Lasts me all the way through the day, and I don't even have to charge it till I get home. It's amazing. And that's after what, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is.
2 years.
But yeah, but it still works fine, and the cameras are still work. I never use them. I bought the damn thing to take advantage of all the video capabilities in the new, as then the pro cameras and all that, and I hardly ever use them. Mainly, all I do is take pictures and labels on the boxes so I can report to work what's gone wrong. That's all I bleeding use them for most of the time.
Yeah, I'm on the I have a 16 Pro. I didn't want to go for the Max because I don't get why people want such large phones, but that's a whole nother.
Oh, I
That's a
do.
whole nother
I'm
thing.
6'7". I know
Well,
you're
see,
not.
I'm
You're 6'6", you shorty.
Yeah, I know. But
Nothing.
do you really
Nothing.
need a phone that?
Pathetic.
But
You're a
most
hobbit.
people need a. I am. I'm just a little short guy, little tiny guy.
Mm.
Do people need a phone that big? Do most people need
Well,
a
I
phone?
do, because unlike your wife, I'm not impressed by 2.2 of an inch. So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. We're coming back to that. Good, good. I'm glad we're coming back to that. Why don't you take the next one?
Apple's Robbie Walker. Is that a real name? That sounds.
I know it almost sounds
Anyway,
like a
sounds
comic
like
book name.
yeah.
The Incredible
Anyway, senior
GMan.
senior AI executive at the iPhone maker is departing the company, according to Bloomberg News reporter Mark GMen, who cited sources familiar with the matter.
Hmm.
Walker, one of the few who reports directly to head John Gioandrea,
Yeah.
previously oversaw Siri until earlier this year, when responsibility for the voice assistant transferred to software chief Craig Federighi. I'm still as good at reading stuff out as I always was.
I know.
Yeah. The shift followed the public delay of promised Siri updates, presenting a notable setback. Well, good then that he's going, if he was the one responsible.
Well, at the same time, Apple made incredible promises for iOS 18. No, 17. It was 17. And they just kept, iOS 17 came out and they just kept saying, well, we're just delaying some of these features until later in the year. And you've got to have the 17 or the 16 or whatever to get, to use Apple AI. It was such a big deal when they were talking at WWDC, whatever that year was. And then not only did it not come out when the phones were released and when the new operating system was released, most of the things they talked about, I think some of them have yet to be released.
Yeah, they have. It's because of the way they wanted to do AI. They wanted it to be, so strict and protective of users' privacy, which is what they've built their name on. So, okay, I understand that.
Sure.
But then that makes everything a lot more troublesome along the way. But the stuff that is in there is the handy stuff, rewriting texts and auto-responding and silly little things here and there compared to what, the big boys can do. But it's still handy. A lot of people don't even know it's there still.
Well, that's the point, though. I think, what so many companies call AI, it's not AI. It's machine learning and, similar things like that. And Apple, other than those announcements, they're not doing anything flashy, but what they are doing is the stuff that people day to day would use. And if you need something that's more flashy, well, then just download the Chat GPT app or one of the other AI apps and use that for, whatever it is that you're trying to do that goes beyond what Apple is doing. But it's not, most of the time people aren't booking, flights to multiple places and trying to do it through voice dictation and all the rest of that, because it's real easy for things to go wrong and you end up being charged for tickets or whatever that you hadn't really intended on using.
This is what I've never understood. Even back in the days when Alexa first started out, and they'll say, "Oh, a thingy, buy me, I don't know, a ladder," and I'd go, "Yeah, but they might buy the wrong one. Why would you trust it to order something from Amazon It's not going to go for the cheapest option, is it? It's going to go for what, Amazon's Choice or whatever.
Yeah.
I've never understood that. When people just say, "Oh, buy me this, buy me that, buy me a coffee, buy me," no, you double check that he's doing the right thing, and if you're
'Cause
double
you owe
checking it,
money.
you might as well do it yourself.
Yeah. It makes no sense to me. And I wonder how old this guy is because they're saying he's senior. So I mean, is it senior AI for people that are really old that want to use
No,
AI?
they don't.
Long lasting executive. I'm kidding.
He's just going to be high up, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right, good. Thank God for that, because I can't tell.
Yeah, sometimes it can be hard to tell with me. Is Guy really being serious about that? Might be. He really might be. Last story that we have: Apple, Google, and Meta are leveraging AI advancements to introduce new translation features in their latest devices. Apple's AirPod Pro, I think it should be Apple's AirPod Pro 3s. I don't know, but what do I know? Unveiled Tuesday. Yeah. Highlight live translation, which is a cool feature, as a major thing with the $250 earbuds hitting stores next week. Real-time language translation is becoming a critical focus in tech as AI reaches the speed of human speech. And I agree. I mean, I haven't seen it work in real life. And, caveats, what they showed during the September 9th announcements looked amazing. Is it going to work like that in real life? I don't know. It's hard to say. But if it works honestly, if it works half as good as what they showed, that's still really cool.
Fortunately, being a British person, I don't need it, because all I do is speak English wherever I go, and if they don't understand me, I just say it louder.
Yeah, well, I think that's how
Works every time.
it works every single time. I know growing up
Now, it's quite funny.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because us being like, you're a big continent, America. I know you've got some countries down below, but we've got Europe. So apparently in the EU, right? So all those countries still in the EU, feel sorry for them, but they're all in the EU. And apparently Apple can't turn this feature on for the EU members. So when this comes out next week, and it's coming out for people who use AirPods 4 and AirPods Pro 2 as well. So we're all getting this feature because we're not in the EU. But all those people who could probably use it, like, Spanish people talking to German people, talking to Italian people, they can't use it because it's not allowed.
Why?
I don't know, because EU laws, rules, regulations. Who knows?
That's crazy. Why wouldn't they allow a translation?
yeah.
I mean, there's other translation apps that I'm sure are allowed, or unless they're thinking that,
It's
Apple is, adding something that is a disadvantage to people who have apps, or, something along those lines.
It's purely their regulations about how they deal with people's data and stuff like that. I'm surprised we haven't got it in the UK, to tell you the truth, the way we're carrying on. But yeah, so I mean, I saw these articles pop up this morning, and it was just saying like rules, regulations means that they can't implement it yet for the EU. It just says coming soon. So
That makes sense.
yeah. Well, anyway. Yep.
Okay. Well, that's all we have for GazMaz snippets. I don't really. I mean, is there any kind of Apple related topic that you would like to speak about today, or are we going to move on from there?
Is that how it works?
throw 'em
You
at
invite
random.
me in to say, go on, make up a show. Make up a
Yeah.
show.
Come on, let's go.
Well, I was kind of wanting to address what wasn't announced at the announcement.
Oh, good topic.
Because I
Let's
really was hoping that big HomePods and TVs and, there's always possibility they'll do something next month. Maybe if they're not massive updates, then a press release, But yeah, I was quite disappointed that we just got a few phones. We got a watch. Well,
And
3 different watches, granted.
Yeah.
And AirPods 3, AirPods Pro 3. And I'm great. I'm interested in the Pods 3. Don't get
Yeah,
me wrong.
I am
I'm
too.
interested in a new Ultra M3, but
Mm.
not immediately. And eventually, I might get a new phone. I'm not sold on it yet, but it won't be an Air though. I know. But I
No.
will go look at them. But no, so I don't. And it might. This is one of those years that lines up quite well because I'm pretty sure that the iPhone Pro Max and the iPhone Pro regular are identical other than size, as far as I'm aware. I've not seen anything else saying this isn't the case. And this happened a few years ago when they came out and they were absolutely the same. There wasn't one additional feature in the Max that the regular didn't have. So I could save myself like 100 or so quid by going for a smaller phone.
Well, there's
Yeah.
also, I mean, there's some differences in the cameras between the Pro
No,
series
they're the
and the
same.
regular series.
No. What I mean is the Pro smaller one and the
Oh,
Pro big
okay.
one are
Yeah,
identical.
yeah, yeah. And it's a lot of money for a little bit of screen. Okay. Yeah, I get that. I get that. And yeah, and you mentioned when was the last time the Apple TV was updated? That's
Oh,
been
God.
a couple of years, three,
Yeah, it's
4
a few
years
years
now.
ago now. Of course,
And
the other thing is, what can they do? But the only obvious one is a better chip in there for more games. I mean, I've never understood why the amount of games that now Apple is trying to have come out, with M series chips and stuff. Why they don't just upgrade the Apple TV to be able to play some of them? But don't just put one version out. Put the version out that could almost be a console for Apple related games, and then just have a regular one for everybody
yeah,
else, which is
oh my
significantly
God,
cheaper
it
because
might
it
be
hasn't
bigger.
got the M's. Makes
How
sense.
bad would that be if it was a little bigger?
It could do. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
They want to go slim, won't they? Okay, a weeny little thing.
Make it look like I think Sony is still selling some version of the PlayStation 2, but it is super thin. I'm not sure of that, so don't quote me, even though it's here on the podcast. Apple's obsession with thinness I've never understood it, especially when they were talking about desktops. It made no sense. Now, for an iPad, sure, I kind of get it. That is an on the go kind of machine. Same thing with laptops, if you can manage it. I think that the new MacBook Airs are amazing little computers. I've played around. Sorry, excuse me. I played around with a couple of them, and if I didn't already have an M1 MacBook Pro, I would be getting an M3 or an M4 MacBook Air because everything that I do with it, and that includes recording video and recording audio, I can use hubs for and just pull in everything into the computer that way. I don't need massive amounts of ports on a laptop. Oh, damn. On a laptop computer that that I only use every once in a while. So the fact that the MacBook Air has just 2 ports, not counting the power port, I think it's, 2 Thunderbolt or USB 3 or 4 ports. That's honestly, if you need more than that, then bring a hub along and just throw it in the bag. You don't really need it for much else. It's a great machine.
It is. I love it.
The fact that no new iPads were introduced, you know, one that has been very, very popular was the iPad Mini. And when was that updated recently? I don't think it was.
Wasn't too long ago. I don't think it was too long ago. I could find out if you want, but
Is it because I don't know if it's using the M series. I know that there's a hair's bit of difference between the iPad Air and the iPad Pro, and I believe the still selling version 10 or 11 iPad is still using A series processors. They're not on the M series yet. So, which of course makes them super cheap. And if somebody is going to use an iPad for just, playing video or whatever, the A series processors are fine for that. But if you wanted to do a little bit more, then you'd have to move up to an Air or the Pro. Now I have an M1 iPad Pro, and I haven't thought once about replacing it yet. There needs to be more from Apple. It's almost like they shoot their load trying to get out a particular series of devices, and then they just kind of sit back on their heels for 4 or 5 years before something else is
Yeah.
relatively new and introduced. And that just seems like a
Well,
waste of opportunity.
I will say though, with the upcoming, well, it comes out tomorrow, Monday, as we record
Yeah.
this on a Sunday. The updates to iPad OS 26 are quite
Oh,
substantial, as long as you've got a
God.
modern day iPad Pro. That is. Now,
Yeah.
if
M1,
unless you've got
M1 or
one of the
later.
new M series, yeah, as long as now, if you haven't got one of the latest M series, you're not going to get the Apple Intelligence stuff, but you haven't had that already. But you will get, as long as you've got a powerful older machine, you will get all the Windows and stuff like this, and that has been a game changer for me using that
Yes.
on my old, because I got the iPad Pro before it went up to the M1, so I'm
Mhm.
still on the A series chip. And by the way, the Mini apparently was updated on 15th October 2024, and it's still got the A17 Pro chip inside it.
Exactly. You
So
know,
that means they need to update the iPad Mini to take advantage of Apple Intelligence if they're really going to push it this year. So there must be something coming down the pike, so they can line up all their like ducks in a row or iPads in a row, so to speak.
well, do
So
you
yeah,
think that
I mean,
there'll be an iPad event before the end of the year?
well, that's the reason, isn't it? I mean, a lot of the time, because there wasn't one that long ago, but it seems like with the introduction of OS 26, there seems to be more of a push to standardize everything. And while they've still got the lower end models tagging behind and not able to take advantage of a lot of the things that are being, now pushed forward, it seems beholden on them to update some of these slower machines, like the normal iPad and the iPad Mini, and like embrace this new direction that they want to head in. I still think they've just updated it to 26, so it sounds like they've got a higher number than Samsung.
Um, I guess because what's going to happen, what's going to happen eventually is there'll be an iPad update, but it won't be in line with the Mac update, which won't be in line with an iOS update. And I'm talking about point updates. I'm not talking about like, major every year updates that they seem to stupidly be holding themselves to. I would much rather, I would much rather they do more. And I don't know how many people will understand this reference. Snow leopard releases where
Oh, yeah.
it's like, okay, well, we came out with all this stuff for iOS 26. So iOS 27 is, not a whole lot of new features, but we're going to fix the stuff that, the major stuff that was broken or not broken, but didn't work well in the last release. And, take care of that stuff before you start trying to throw new flashy things at everybody to sell hardware. And that's what I think a big push on this whole renaming thing is that if you're still on an Intel machine, well, number one, don't be. It's just please save up your pennies, count your change at the end of the day, and say you can get an M1 Mac Mini for peanuts now, and it's a fantastic machine. I used it for years and years. Um, Same thing with, well, not enough. I guess not so much the same thing with iPads. But if you can find an older iPad or an older iPad Pro that has an M series chip, it's going to be well worth your time and effort and money to go ahead and update to those. You don't have to have the brand new shiny in order to get a lot of benefit from the various OS 26 updates that are coming down the line. Speaking of which, how long are you going to wait on your Mac's update to Mac OS 26?
Oh, well, because I don't do shows anymore, I'll be doing it on tomorrow.
Oh, as soon as it comes out.
As soon as it comes out, I'm going in.
Okay,
I just
I've
don't
got
care.
it on my laptop, and in testing so far, because I mean, most of what I'm dealing with is audio, and so far,
There you
everything
go.
is working the way that it's supposed to, including Rogue Amoeba app, which really surprised me. So
No.
that means it did for me. I was using Farrago, Loopback, and Audio Hijack. They're big three with no issues at all. I'm using, well, no, never mind. I'm not on the beta on this machine.
Well, it's the age old discussion, isn't it? If you're doing something that's mission critical with your work, don't update blindly. Just wait a few weeks to let the bugs come and go. And if you don't know that by now, I can't help you. But I'm in a mad rush because I don't care. I don't do. Basically, I hardly ever use this Mac now that I'm currently using to do this show. I literally do everything I've got on an iPad. And some people say, "Wait, you don't do real work." I know. You don't have to tell me. Right? I know I don't do real work. I literally go through X, go through the news reads, and send messages and do emails and play the odd game here and there. That's what I'm doing most days. That's all I've got time to do most days. So, you know, I, I basically live on my iPad Pro at the moment. And if anything is going to get updated, it's going to be that, because that new one looks slick. But but at the moment, luckily, it used to be when I was doing the show, I felt I had to go out and get the greatest and the latest and stuff, unless it came to a Mac Pro. Obviously, there are limits. Although apparently,
Yeah.
from listening back in the day, some podcasts require a Mac Pro to work because they're just that intensive when working with MP3 files.
Really?
But on the whole, no. Yeah,
I,
but that's what I
I
was
was going to
listening
ask
to. I was
what
thinking,
show is that? Or do you not want to say? Wasn't this one?
I don't want to say. We all know. We probably all listen to them from time to time. You think, what? Live in the real world, anyway. But no. So I don't need the latest and the greatest. I'm still getting by. What's this? This M1 Air here. Now I'm looking at my little monitor. It's got loads of windows open. It's running this thing on Firefox. It's got this video thing going on. Mic inputs, audio adjustments. It's,
Yeah.
it's at 25%.
Yeah.
It's not even bothering to tick over.
A lot of people
But what can you do?
don't understand just how powerful the M series of processors are. Apple or whoever designed this chip really hit it out of the park.
Yeah. Now, if I wanted to suddenly start doing 4K 60 frames per second video,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be as fast, but it would still do it. It would just take a while.
Yeah, it would just take longer. I get
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
I get it. So Apple, we're kind of waiting to see what else is coming down the pike that's going to justify upgrading to the various new OSs. And if you have a machine that isn't really going to get a lot of benefit from it, well, then just stay on. What the hell is it that are we on now? What is that called? Um,
I got a clue about names. They keep coming up with these wonderful names, and I
I
forget them
know.
as soon as they say them.
I can't think of it. Isn't that's just ridiculous that I can't think of it. Okay, doesn't matter. Whatever the name, Tahoe, is it Tahoe? I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever the latest OS is called.
Sequoia.
Sequoia. Okay, it's
See,
Sequoia.
I can't even say it.
Well, it's got a weird
I
spelling. It's
don't.
got a Q in there that just doesn't seem to belong.
Yeah, just like you
Exactly.
Americans are now use. So
Well, yeah,
what have you got?
calor. Anyway, we're going to move on.
Now, one thing
Yeah, go ahead.
can I just say about the
Of course.
presentations now, the events, is I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. It could be because I'm getting older, right? But I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, stop doing the flashy flybys and just bloody get on with it, please.
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
it drives me mad.
I think a lot of that is just because since they don't do them live anymore, which I really miss. Um, the flashy flybys are just a way, it's a transition basically. But wherever it is that these people are actually recording from, I'm willing to bet about half the time they're recording in front of a green screen or a blue screen, and it's
Yes.
not the section where they're showing themselves. So what's the point of flashing from, the UFO main building over to the Steve Jobs Theater, back over to this place, and then in front of some tree? It's like, just give us the information that we're waiting for. And at the end of it says, oh, this was all recorded on iPhones. It's like, yeah, but you added like all this extra stuff. If you really want to impress me, record it on iPhones or iPads and then edit them there as well. Really impress me. Um, Actually, before we get off this topic, and I've talked about this before, one of the things that I really wish Apple would do, and they won't for a while, is turn your phone into an actual computer. I mean, it is a computer, but if you put it on a big screen, you get iOS. Just make it so that when it's in a dock or whatever, or something, some little switch that you can hit, it'll switch over to something like the iPad OS, something that a large screen can take advantage of rather than, what you would get on a phone. And I don't understand why they don't do this. I think it would be huge for business, where businesses, instead of buying all these computers and everything else, they just buy cheap monitors, cheap keyboards, a cheap mouse, and a dock. And when the person gets into work, they put the phone in the dock, because let's face it, these days, the computers that you have on your desk in front of you are mostly just dumb terminals connected up. Even if it's connected to the internet, it's doing it through either their servers or shared servers with some other kind of service. You're not really using the power of whatever the PC is in front of you so much as getting all of your information from outside of that PC. So why not take advantage of that? You plug your phone in, and everything that's personal on your phone isn't even part of the equation. It's just using the phone's hardware to connect to whatever services that you need.
Did another manufacturer try that a few years ago? Was it Samsung? I
It
can't
was
remember who it was.
yeah,
It was
with
like
Dex.
Digby or something.
The
Dex.
problem with
Dex.
Dex and the problem with Digby is, number one, Dex worked off of Android. So whatever Samsung did with Dex still had to work within Android. So that meant that Google could totally screw Samsung at any time by making some kind of minor change that made Dex not work. And the problem with Digby is it didn't have apps. It had nothing to compare to either iOS or Android. And it's a duopoly. It's either Android or it's going to be iOS. And Apple holds most of the cards as compared to other manufacturers, because they have both the hardware and the software. And it works together as well as they want it to. Whereas the only real competition in that regard is going to be Google and Pixel. But everybody else has to work within Android.
It's an idea. I'm not sure they've shown any interest in it, but
Oh, you can
yeah.
bet down at Apple Skunk Works, they've got something like this.
Possibly.
All right. Let's move on from that, and we're going to talk about we're going to go right into feedback, because there's no for pick's sakes this week, and that's just how we roll. So we only have one audio feedback this week, and it's from our good friend Mr. Cheesedoff. Carl, are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Yeah, okay.
Hello, Guy and Gaz. Mr.
Hi.
Cheesedoff here.
Hello.
So Apple's gone and announced a brand new iPhone Air, a Apparently, air now means slightly thinner, slightly lighter, and massively more expensive. The only thing lighter than the phone is the reason to actually buy one. And of course, while they've shaved the body down, the camera bump has grown into a full-blown architectural feature. Honestly, it sticks out so far you can use it as a kickstand. Put it on the desk and it wobbles more than Guy tried to explain iCloud settings.
Yeah.
At this rate, the bump's going to need its own protective case. Apple's pitch is all the power of an iPhone, now in a thinner shell. Oh yes, thinner, except for that enormous barnacle bolted to the back. It's like strapping a telescope to a post-it note and calling it elegant design. And don't even get me started on the price. They trimmed down a few grams, slapped on a few $100 and called it innovation. That's not innovation, it's daylight robbery with a designer box. But here's the real kicker. The absolute horror wasn't the iPhone Air's announcement. It was listening to the last episode and realizing you two actually had similar opinions to me. The shame, the humiliation, agreeing with Guy and Gaz on anything is worse than the camera bump itself. I may never recover. I don't know. It all really cheeses me off.
Thank you, Mr. Cheesed Off.
Wow.
I feel sorry for the guy. He actually has a similar opinion to Gaz and myself. I understand.
Uh-oh.
I understand why that could be a problem. Okay. We have some email feedback, and apologies to both of these people. It was actually there for a while, and I'm just now finally getting it into the show. First one is from Saranac of the Essential Apple Podcast, and he writes, was glad to find out that you and Gaz were back in the saddle with the GMen, even if it took me a while to find out. Sorry to hear of your recent troubles, and my condolences on the loss of your brother Bill. Thank you. Thank you. I'm truly saddened to hear that, especially so close to the loss of Tim, who I know was a longtime friend, over 20 years. And then to get doged by Musk and his goons is like rubbing salt into the wounds, I'm sure. On the upside, at 65, you can be like me and decide to just retire and make the most of life, which is pretty much what I've decided to do. Anyway, glad to have you and all of the associated madness and nonsense back in my podcatcher, and look forward to many more episodes to come. And that's from Simon, aka Saranac, the Essential Apple Podcast. Now, Simon, I actually have some ads. If you would play them, I'd appreciate it. And also, if you would send me something new, I will play it here on this show. Next up, this was more of a ask for help from Donnie Yankelo. He says, hi, Guy. Thanks again for your help. Here's what I am looking at. I need something that will allow me to take input from 4 microphones so I can have 2 interviewers and 1 interviewee at the same time. However, if I use lavalier style microphones, I think I only need 2 inputs. I'm not sure about that if you have 3. All the lovelier microphones I have used and also research support 2 microphones with 1 input jack. Okay, well, if you go between left and right channels, yes. Which is why I was thinking the Rodecaster Duo might work. You would just have to get all 3 inputs into it. You suggested the Rodecaster Pro 2 and mentioned the Rode NT1 SS, which is a great microphone for the money. I'm trying to find the person with the budget information later today, and if he tells me anything, I will let you know. On another note, would you be interested in coming up here and doing 3 to 4 workshops on podcasting in April? Every April, my school has a 3-day learning festival where we have outside peoples and teachers inside the building teach the middle schoolers about topics we normally wouldn't cover. This whole event is funded by the same family every year. They had a photographer come down from New York last year. They've done model rockets, food sculpture, ghost hunting, and they think they found one in the basement, and more. It would probably be a three 1-hour long sessions where you could talk, or I could talk about podcasting and do something interactive like have them film mini podcasts. I'm thinking while you were here, I could have the school podcast crew interview you for an episode for our podcast. Let me know if you're interested. Thanks again, Donnie. Donnie, I'm very interested. I think that would be a lot of fun. And now that I'm retired, it doesn't necessarily have to be, in April. If you would like me to come up during the week at some point, I would be happy to do so, and to demonstrate or look at your setup for whatever. Yeah, just let me know, and I'd be happy to come up and help you out. And that's about it for all of that stuff. Now remember, if you've done an iTunes review and we've spoken on the show about it, you need to send me an email to get your Wooty. Do you know what a Wooty is, Carl?
You know I do. You sent me loads. Even though the first one you sent me, you got my name wrong.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as I got the name wrong, that's what matters. But for people who don't know what a Wooty is, it's a big W, big O, big T, little I, little E, exclamation mark. That's a Wooty. And you can say whatever you want about us. And, even if you want to do like an audio thing, that's great. We would love it. And most of the time I'll remember to actually play them on the show. And that's funny for reasons that will become obvious, hopefully next week. Please, between 5 to 10 seconds. And if you must use naughty words, naughty, they will be beeped. If you'd like to help support the show, you can go to ko-fi.com/MacParrot. I don't have the parrot sound. You can also,
Wow.
good enough, you can go to PayPal, paypal.me/MacParrot. And we have a Discord channel. Just look up VertShark on the Discords, because that's a thing.
Boom, boom.
You can find it there. Now, Carl, if people wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do so?
X. I'm only on X. That's it. Nothing
That's
else.
it. What would this screen be?
Claw0101.
Claw0101 over on the X's. If you would like to reach Gaz, you can reach him through email at gaz@mymac.com. Cars. You can also reach him. He's also on Mastadon and over there on the BlueSkies as GazMaz, GazMaz.
Cars.
And there's
Gaz.
also there's Guy and Gaz, GUIANDGAZ, on
Gaz.
both Twitter X and BlueSky. Yeah, that's good. If you want to reach me, I am Guy at mymac.com for email. You can also reach me over there on the Twitax. It is MacParrot or VertShark. Over there on the big Twitex. I'm also MacParrot over on BlueSky. And Carl, I know this is going to amaze you. We have a Google Voice number.
What? No, you don't.
We do. And here's that number right now. No, that's not it.
And they want you to go and explain podcasting.
Yeah. Yes, they do. Actually, this is the number right here.
703-828-4678.
That's right. It's 703-828-46, which to most normal people is 703-828-4677. If you are outside of the US, it would be country code 1 and then the number, and you might incur charges if you dial directly. So contact us in all the other ways that we have over there. Some of the other stuff I got going on. Guy's Daily Drive, which is mostly an archive for all the ones I did going back in 2018. That comes out about 3 times a week. And the really super slow rollout for Tales from the AI verse, which only has 1 episode out right now. And that's it. Carl, I think that today we were good enough. Yeah, I do. I do. And contrary to popular belief, I think we were smart enough. And that, doggone it, woof, I think people like us. And I'm going to do something real quick here because I'm just not always prepared. And if you give me just a second, okay.
Do, 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 do.
I'm ready now. I'm ready now. Oh, okay. Carl,
Yes.
what kind of shoes do frogs wear?
No idea.
Open-toed sandals.
Oh, flip's sake.
And